It's Sunday afternoon. I've got my old faithful bass rig gigging dolly on the bench today. She is going to be upgraded with some new castors. The old ones still, well, they kind of roll okay, but the rubber is worn down to just a few millimeters. This was originally the bottom of a full flight case that I made probably back in the 90s for a quad box or something, and at some stage I've gotten rid of the top and I've just converted the bottom into a dolly to wheel my rig around. You can see where I've actually filled in the old catches. The new casters will be nice. They're a larger diameter and they also have brakes, so this will be cool. Last weekend I had to wheel my rig across like an open field to get to a festival, and the brakes are handy when you got to park your car on a bit of a slope or something and you have to unload it. But the real mod that I want to show you is something I did maybe 25 years ago, and at that stage I was still doing a lot of freelance work, doing little wedding gigs and jazz gigs and stuff, and also doing sit-down gigs like music theatre pit orchestra gigs and gigs with a symphony orchestra. And I added these timber triangles that are hinged, and I can also lock them in place with these metal rods. And with all four of these up, well, you can probably see where I'm going. It means I can put my 210 box in there and tilt it back, just like a monitor wedge. These two triangles are actually two different angles, and when the speakers are pointing this way, well, it sort of projects a bit further forward, but with the speakers kind of pointing this way, the cab is actually tilted back more and it acts more like a monitor wedge. And this was super, super handy for those little gigs. I specifically made these and kind of did the geometry on these for that Eden 210 box, which I still own actually, but I very rarely use these days. And it allowed me to make sure that the center of gravity was all really central in the trolley, and it was super stable. I could even quite easily just wheel the speaker around even with it tilted back like that. How often do you get to a sound check and set up, and then 10 minutes later, you have to move your speaker 6 inches to fit a drum mic in or whatever, so it was really, really cool. The other nice thing about this was that not only could I lock these up, but I could also lock them in the downward position. So I've got another set of holes on the bottom here, and you might think that's kind of useless, but sliding this in and out of your car at 2 in the morning, it's a great help if these aren't sort of flapping around. So that's my trolley of doom. She's going to be upgraded with new casters, and to do that I'm going to have to take these triangles out to fit them, and to be honest I don't think I'm going to return them because I very rarely use these anymore. The band I'm in nowadays, we don't do that sort of work. Plus my Aggie 112, which is kind of my small speaker cab of choice, sort of fits in here, but it's not really ideal, and I'd have to modify it quite a bit. And it's such a light speaker that I don't even really need a trolley to take it in and out of small gigs, so it's kind of a moot point. Top tip, this is the sliding part of an old combination square, and I use it all the time to sight my hand drill and get holes nice and close to 90 degrees. So I filled all the old holes with dowels and topped them off with builder's bog, and once I got on a roll, well, I just decided to give the whole trolley a proper spruce up. The top side of the corners were all worn down a fair bit, so I bogged them up, and to protect them I made these things from some scrap metal I had. They're just aluminium, but they're better than nothing, I guess. Just trying to match the radius as best I can. These fills are far from perfect. I didn't bother doing any second skims with the bog. It is just a trolley after all, and it's just going to get knocked about again, of course. I don't know why, but I really enjoy rolling paint, and tipping it off or back rolling it is just quite satisfying. Therapeutic even. Bit of a weird video, I know, but I really wanted to share the hinged triangle design thing before it disappeared forever. It really was a nice feature back in the day, and it used to get a lot of comments from other musos as well. So if you have a bass cab you like, but it's kind of heavy and needs tilting back on certain gigs, maybe you can try something like this. Thanks for watching.